Hi, this is Lainey Cameron. I'm here with C. D'Angelo on launch week. Congratulations on your debut novel making it into the world.
Thank you so much.
And this novel, it's got so much food. It's all about Italy and New York Italian and genealogy and heritage. And I guess I'll say congratulations because I saw that it hit the number one Amazon bestseller in a couple of categories already during your pre order period.
Thank you. Yes, I can't believe it. I'm so excited.
So, for those who are not familiar, the book's coming out this week. So, tell me a little bit more. Tell our listeners more about what's the book about.
A woman who has it all on paper, but is very unfulfilled and realizes she needs to know a little bit more about her past to help guide her in her future. So she goes on an ancestry journey to find out about her immigrant Italian grandfather and why he was so secretive about his immigration. She's having a lot of issues with some mental health, some anxiety, some almost depression, and it's really starting to wreck her relationships, especially with her live-in boyfriend.
And I loved her emotional journey over the course of the book. I mean, that's the best thing about women's fiction. The best women's fiction has a great journey. And I noticed that a lot of your reviews talk about that for your main character. In fact, that's the main thing people loved about your book is Rachel, the main character. People loved her. Like I noticed some of the words people use, like I wanted to give her a hug. I felt connected to Rachel. I could really relate to what she was going through. Like it sounds like people who've especially maybe struggled a little bit with feeling like their life isn't 100% of what they wanted it to be, are really connecting with this book.
I felt the same when I'm reading the ARC reviews so far, and I am thrilled that people are getting her because I think she's such an important character that is very relatable to a lot of us, I mean, who hasn't felt dissatisfied, who hasn't had a moment of, high anxiety or been in a slump. I won't call it depression, but, it's everyone has been through these certain times and felt lost. And, so I think that is really touching the audience. Plus, I write in first person, so I think that helps a little bit to really feel like you're with her on the journey.
Right, right. And let's take a quick peek at one review, which I thought captured the whole book really well. This is from Meredith Malkin, who's an artist. And she says, Rachel is a character who lives inside all of us. She represents the conflict between monotony and spontaneity that we all struggle with, and how both worlds can inform the other. And through culture, history, curiosity, this book, The Difference, is a mecca of pain, numbness, joy, and celebration. It teaches you that you are never stuck if you begin to be curious about your own life. What I love is I love the curiosity of the main character, right? She loves her Italian heritage. She's all about Italian food and destinations, and she's always wanting to learn about that history. And to me, that was part of the book. That was like the food. I was like Googling certain dishes, like, how do I make that as I was reading
Oh,
the book?
good. I love that you did that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was so hungry when I wrote this book. Let me tell you. So everything I did, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to make this now, but no, I need to write. Yeah.
So, where did the idea come from? Where did your original inspiration for a book that's all about kind of her, but also like looking into her Italian heritage and really understanding that history? Like, where did it all come from?
Well, this book started a long time ago. First of all, I got the idea in 2012 and I started writing it in 2013, but I took many long breaks in between the actual writing sessions until I got more serious at the end. But the year was the centennial of the Titanic sinking. So there was a lot of like documentaries of the Titanic on and all of that kind of stuff. So that has been an interest of mine. And I thought, that might be kind of fun to make a main character have that kind of quirky interest. Like, who's interested in that besides me? And so I thought, okay, that. And then at the same time, I had always wanted to do some ancestry research for myself. So it kind of became this blending of like life imitates art and imitates life, And I think a lot of first time writers do that anyway. You kind of like, you have to pull from a lot of your own life. And so it just kind of popped out of those two things basically, and it went from there.
That's great. And what did this book's journey look like? This is your debut novel, right? So, in terms of editing and revisions, like talk to me a little bit about your path from having that first spark to getting here where readers can get hold of it.
Yeah, I'm also a therapist, like my main character in the book. And so I have another full-time job. And I say another now because this is definitely a second job now. And so with that, it's a lot of draining days, long days, whatever. So I wasn't as focused as I would have liked to have been at the beginning with the writing. So I would do it for a few months on the weekends and then I'd stop. At one time, I think I took like a 3-year break, maybe. I mean, but it was always like, I'm going to finish this book. And then when I dove back into it, I moved to another city and I dove back into it and I thought, okay, yeah, I got to do this. I'm feeling it now. And once I started, it was like no stopping me. It was all the weekends, every time I can get. So I finally finished my first draft. I would say it took about 5 years. And then
Congratulations for sticking with it, because I think people underestimate that writing a book, it's not just about that first draft either, right? There's so much work that goes into it from there to getting it into the world. And so congratulations, because like 99%, I was just reading the statistics yesterday, like 99 point something percent of people give up before it's ever finished.
Really?
So yeah, and then we're not going to talk about the percent that finish it but never get it into the world, which is another challenge.
Right,
So yeah, congratulations on making it here and having readers who are loving it already.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much because it has been quite a journey. So yeah, a lot of editing from that first draft being done about 3 years ago. Every time I would talk to my friends and they asked, "What are you doing?" "I'm editing." What do you mean? I thought you edited it.
Are you done?
No.
Are you done yet? How can you still be editing the book?
You do not understand. It is a lot of editing. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah,
what changed? Like for folks who are loving this book now, if they were to look back at the original version, well, what might be anything they'd be surprised by?
Well, my writing has improved. That's one thing. Over time, and so I changed a lot because I thought, oh gosh, no, I can't say it like that, but the meat was there. I also changed it from third person because I think first person makes it way more relatable, like we were talking about before. And then besides that, it's probably the typical things people cut from books. Like there's a lot of the backstory of Rachel and her best friend Maggie. They met in college, and some of the stuff that happened in college, and different things like that. I would say some more work stuff with her partner in her office, Annabelle. Some of that with the kids that she sees. So it's things like that.
So, having been on this journey, and I know you've also had some real publication challenges, like many of us, that it wasn't a smooth like road from A to B to get the book into the world. Is there any advice you give to other authors around like sticking with it, or how to edit, or just like what do you tell to people who are maybe like where you were a few years ago?
The best thing I could say, and what I had to tell myself many times, was just stay with it. This is going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. No matter what I have to do, this book will be in my hands. And it is, And so I think that if you want something bad enough, you have to just stick with it and try to, make sacrifices where you can, giving up weekends if you have a full-time job to write and things like that. You have to. So I would say just stick with it, have some grit. I just wrote a blog post on that, so that's in my head. But yeah.
And how does it feel now you've made it this far? I mean, talk to us a little bit about like this is it. This is launch week. How does it feel to finally be there?
I am still in shock because I feel like it's been a whirlwind since I finished it not too long ago, like to send off to the formatter and all of the process at the end, because I wanted to get it done and out. I mean, it's been 8 years. I need it out there. So I'm still in this, wait, this is happening? How is this happening? What's going on? I mean, it's so odd to me that people are finally reading it where I've kept it such a secret, like my little book baby all this time,
Yeah. And are you in the read your reviews or don't read your reviews? Like people tend to fall in one camp or the other. Have you worked it out yet?
Okay, so right now, because until this point, there's been all the ARC readers. I am just kind of checking and seeing, like, I may need to just check in with somebody or something. Hey, have you gotten a chance? Thank you so much, and all of that. But I think after this, I probably won't because I'm a very sensitive soul. So I need to, I need to protect my sensitiveness and my confidence.
Yeah, no, I was just talking to another author who has sold, like, I think many, like tons of copies. And she was saying she doesn't read her reviews at all. So kind of interesting that there's a bestseller that just does not touch her reviews, like stays far away. She says it's not helpful to her creativity to read them, which is interesting. So talk to me about the food in the book. Like, tell me more about that.
I didn't mean it to, but I love food. So, I mean, I'm Italian. So, first of all, this book was dedicated to my grandpa. And he was much like Rachel, like my hero, and he's been gone a while now, so he doesn't get to read it or anything like that. But I just pulled from all of the times that I spent with him and my grandma, all the family meals and what did we do and how it was growing up. And so I whenever I'd write a scene, I kind of went back to what would we eat, what was our traditional meals, and some of it I had to pull in some research because of kind of the Genoa tie for where my main character's family is from, because we're not from northern Italy. So I need to do a little bit of research on that, but it's like a lot of family meals in there, actually.
Yeah, it is. And it makes it a very, I'm trying to find the right word, like family oriented, comfortable kind of, like there's a vibe there of the book because of all of these family meals that's relatable. It's very relatable and warm. Warm is maybe the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
That makes me so happy you felt that.
So
in Italian, food is everything.
Of course, food is life and food is love, right? Like that came across in this book, that food is love, especially to the Italians and many cultures around the world. Yeah. So is there anything, as it's getting out there and you're getting reviews coming in and people are rating the arcs, is there anything that's been interesting or surprising that people have commented or asked you about or that's touched you? Like, how does it feel? Tell us a little bit more.
One of my favorite comments has been that they felt like they were reading Rachel's journal. Because that touched me so much, because one of my very favorite authors is Curtis Sittenfeld. And I remember the time period I read her book Prep, and I felt like that book, I was inside her head, the character, but really Curtis Sittenfeld.
Yeah.
And so I thought, you know what? Like, it was just this blink, like a flash of light of like, if I ever wrote a book, I would really want that for my reader. And I never thought about writing again until way later, like at least 10 years later. And so for someone to have said that was everything to me,
That's beautiful. Like for me, what was similar was like, I really wanted to write a page turner. So the first time someone said that it was like, oh, okay, yes, I did the thing I was hoping to do. I actually because you hope, but you don't know until you get it into someone's hands, right? How they're going to react to it.
And you did, by the way. I love your book. Yes.
Oh, you're sweet.
It was a page turner.
So we're almost ready to wrap up and talk about how folks can connect with you. But anything I haven't asked that you wanted to talk about as you're here talking about the book?
Not really. I just want to say thank you for all the support, like in the writing community. I literally could not have done it without the support of the people. Would not have a clue what to do. And so I'm just very grateful, and grateful to you for taking some time with me today.
Oh, you are so welcome. And let's look at how folks can connect with you. So on Instagram, you're c.d'angelo.author. And your website is cdangeloauthor.com, and folks can find all your other social medias there. And if you love the book, send a note. Like, one of the things we love as authors is like, tell the author. If you love a book, tell the author. You'd be surprised. It can make all the difference in the world. And like you say, like getting that next book out there, but also you don't know how it's going to be received. And it really touches you when someone says, this is how it was for me.
Yes, definitely. Reach out. I love to talk to people.
There you go. That's not an Italian stereotype at all, right?
And I talk with my hands. Yeah.
And you talk with your hands. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This has been a fun conversation, and the book is out and available now. People can get it this week.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.